I'll just jump in and give you the floor on what's happening at your alma mater and your 2 cents on what's happening there. Tim, what do you think?
Well, I actually think that there's a lot. It's people won't fully understand this, but there's a lot to actually be encouraged about if you actually watch the all 22 and the coaches tape. You go to Death Valley at night against one of the top teams in the country, and for a lot of areas, you match them stride for stride, and in some areas you outperform them. But you're just not going to win with 5 turnovers. I don't care what level, what when you lose 5 turnovers to I believe one, like you're not going to win when your defense really shuts them to 10 points, but your offense gives them another 10. Like it's too hard to win, especially in the SEC at night. And so I think when you really look at it, there's a lot to be encouraged, but you have to win in situational football. And there's a reason why those always get talked about as the fundamentals: turnovers, scoring in the red zone, penalties, third downs. There's just certain things that are always the basics. And you have a team that in areas are playing really well, but in some of the fundamentals, the penalties, the turnovers, scoring in the red zone, when you lose all of those, it makes it almost impossible to win the game. And so that's just areas. The situational football is where we have to improve.
Which is the best team in the SEC through the first almost month of the season? Then would you say, Tim?
I think probably. I think the first team came to my head was probably Oklahoma. When you look at their violent, aggressive defense, when John Mateer as a quarterback, he's fun to watch.
He
Like
should.
he's twitchy. He's a twitchy dude. I think he's probably kind of has a little bit of that Johnny Manziel twitch in the pocket, ability to get it out really fast, super accurate. Their receivers underrated, can make a lot of plays, like just can take the top off. I'm excited to see when they get more of these backs going, Jaden Ott and some of these other guys going. I think they can improve their running game. But that Michigan team was a good team that the game was closer. The score was closer the than I think it really was. Like they really dominated a lot of that. Michigan had the one big play to start the second half and made it feel closer, but that was a really good performance by Oklahoma. But I also think you cannot take Auburn lightly this weekend because they're much improved. Jackson Arnold be a good storyline coming back to Norman, but they're getting better. And Auburn's receivers are um, pretty darn athletic, and they can take the top off and make big plays, and their defense is improved. So I'm excited. We actually will fly to Norman here in a couple of hours
Mm.
to be a part of that for SEC Nation. So
Y-
it'd be fun.
Yeah, I can understand why you'd think Mateer is fun to watch, but I did go to the University of Michigan. That was not fun to watch, and I can confirm to you, Tim, that the scoreboard difference felt much larger watching. That it felt as if this thing was over, and obviously I was hoping that there would be some form of a Tebow time like comeback, with few minutes to go, but that did not
But
materialize, Tim.
you have to be encouraged by Bryce
Oh
Underwood,
my
though.
God, I've
And I
never
think
seen Tim. I'll say to you what I've said here. I have, I went to school starting there in 1986. So from Harbaugh to the present day, I've seen Michigan quarterbacks, including Brady, including name it. Chad Henne had a big arm. Joe Milton, while he had a cup of coffee there, obviously had a big arm. I've never seen an arm like this attached to a body like that in one human being playing quarterback for Michigan ever, ever.
It's Rich, it's so crazy. So we flew to Pasadena for the cover shoot for the EA Sports game, and
Mhm.
so there's all these different players that Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith and everyone, and Bryce Underwood is there, and he's right beside me as we're taking some of the photos, and I'm standing beside Coach Day and some of the other coaches, and we're talking, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, it's my first time to see him. I've seen some of his tape, but it's my first time to see him up close and personal, and I'm like, holy cow. Like it's this is crazy. Like it's what a lot of people think the first time they see Cam Newton is you're like, whoa, like
Yep.
it's just different. Right. It's just I'm not saying other guys aren't athletic or gifted at all. You're just saying like, wow. Like when God made him, he just made him bigger, stronger, faster. Like he's just gifted. Like it's just different. And you're like, he like his size and his length and the physicality, he looks like he's 24. And it's so gifted, and I'm really excited to see. And everybody's like, well, week 1, week 2, and you're like, no, he's still a baby, and he's got to give time to develop and learn. And just because you're that talented doesn't mean everything's going to come easy. And I actually think that he's handled the pressure really well. I'm excited to see, what he's going to become, because his gifts are just off the charts.
Yeah, we had him here in studio in the summertime, and my oldest son is 17, and I kept looking at Bryce Underwood, and I'm like, they're the same age, and I'm like, it's wow. And what you said about Cam too, Tim, that Super Bowl where I met you, that photograph of us is from the Super Bowl where I met Cam for the first time. It's the one in Indianapolis where Eli dropped that ball to Mario Manningham on the sideline for a touchdown to beat, or a big play to lead to the eventual game winner against the Patriots. I met Cam there for the first time and had the same reaction. And then I just saw Cam again in Brazil because he's part of a YouTube broadcast of Chiefs and Chargers. And I still had the same reaction of just like, I cannot believe you played quarterback in the National Football League. It's just monstrously large person. Incredibly talented as well. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.